What if a battle that ended in defeat became one of the greatest victories in history? In the summer of 480 BC, a force so vast that ancient writers claimed it could drink rivers dry marched toward Greece. At its head stood the most powerful king on earth, a ruler who believed no army could stop him, no city could resist him, and no man could stand in his way. Yet, at a narrow mountain pass called Thermopylae, barely a few dozen meters wide in places, a small alliance of Greek warriors made a choice that would echo through history. They knew they were walking toward almost certain death. Still, they stood their ground. For 3 unforgettable days, courage would collide with overwhelming numbers. Empires would clash, legends would be born, and one king's final command would inspire generations for more than 2,000 years. This is the true story of the Battle of Thermopylae, the stand that changed history forever. Nearly 2,500 years ago, the ancient world was divided between countless kingdoms, tribes, and city-states. But above them all towered one superpower, the Persian Empire. Stretching from modern-day India to Egypt and Asia Minor, it controlled millions of people and vast wealth. Gold, grain, horses, and tribute flowed into its capital from every corner of the known world. Its ruler, King Xerxes I, inherited an empire unlike any the world had ever seen. Yet one goal remained unfinished. His father, Darius the Great, had failed to conquer Greece after the Persian defeat at Marathon in 490 BC. Xerxes intended to finish what his father had begun. Across the Aegean Sea, Greece was nothing like Persia. There was no emperor, no unified kingdom. Instead, dozens of fiercely independent city-states competed with one another. Athens dominated through its navy. Sparta was feared for its unmatched soldiers. Corinth, Thebes, and many others pursued their own ambitions. They argued constantly. They fought each other as often as foreign enemies. Unity was rare. Yet when news spread that Xerxes was assembling an invasion unlike anything seen before, old rivalries suddenly seemed insignificant. The survival of Greece itself was now at stake. Among all the Greek city-states, Sparta stood apart. Its citizens believed that strength was earned through discipline, sacrifice, and absolute loyalty. From the age of 7, Spartan boys left their families to begin the agoge, a brutal state-run training system. They learned to endure hunger, pain, exhaustion, and fear. Failure brought punishment. Success brought honor. By adulthood, every Spartan warrior had spent years preparing for one purpose: to defend Sparta without hesitation. Their bronze shields were more than armor, they symbolized responsibility. A Spartan mother was said to tell her son before battle, "Return with your shield or on it." Whether every mother actually spoke those words is uncertain, but the saying perfectly reflects Spartan ideals. Leading Sparta was King Leonidas, a warrior shaped by the same harsh training as every Spartan citizen. Unlike many rulers of the ancient world, he fought alongside his men rather than commanding from a distant palace. Leonidas understood that Persia's army far outnumbered anything Greece could assemble. A direct confrontation on open ground would likely end in disaster. If Greece was to survive, it needed to force Persia into fighting on ground where numbers mattered less. His answer lay at a narrow coastal pass called Thermopylae. Its name meant the Hot Gates, named after the nearby natural hot springs. On one side rose steep mountains, on the other lay the sea. In places, only a narrow strip of land connected north and south. It was the perfect battlefield. Meanwhile, across the Hellespont, Xerxes launched one of the largest military campaigns of the ancient world. Engineers built enormous pontoon bridges across the strait, allowing soldiers, cavalry, and supply wagons to cross from Asia into Europe. Ancient sources describe an army of more than 1 million men, though modern historians generally estimate it was likely between 100,000 and 300,000, still one of the largest invasion forces of its time. The army included Persians, Medes, Egyptians, Babylonians, Phoenicians, and many other peoples from across the empire. Each marched beneath the banners of the great king. The earth itself seemed to shake beneath their feet. Realizing the danger, several Greek city-states agreed to fight together despite decades of rivalry. It was an extraordinary decision. Leonidas marched north with approximately 300 elite Spartan warriors, accompanied by several thousand allies from other Greek cities. Together, they occupied the narrow pass of Thermopylae. Their mission was simple: hold the line, delay Xerxes, buy Greece enough time to prepare its defenses. Every hour they survived increased the chances that Greek civilization itself might endure. They knew they faced impossible odds. Still, not one of them turned back. As the Persian army approached Thermopylae, dust rose into the sky like a gathering storm. Rank after rank of soldiers stretched across the landscape, their banners rippling in the wind. Veterans, archers, cavalry, and elite guards marched beneath the authority of King Xerxes, whose empire had conquered nearly everything in its path. Across the narrow pass, the Greek defenders stood silently behind a wall of bronze shields. There were no speeches, no panic, only disciplined men waiting for the moment history would remember. Confident that the Greeks would surrender, Xerxes sent a messenger demanding they lay down their weapons. According to ancient tradition, King Leonidas answered with 2 simple words: "Come and take them." Molon laid. Whether spoken exactly as recorded or slightly differently, the message became legendary. It was a declaration that freedom was worth more than life itself. Xerxes waited several days, believing fear or hunger would force the Greeks to abandon their position. They never did. Finally, Xerxes gave the order to attack. Thousands of Persian infantry surged into the narrow pass, but the terrain worked against them. Unable to surround the defenders, they were forced into a deadly bottleneck, where only a small number could fight at once. The Greek hoplites locked their shields together, forming an unbreakable wall of bronze. Their long spears struck first, while heavy armor protected them from the lighter Persian weapons. Wave after wave, crashed against the Greek line and broke apart. By the end of the first day, the pass remained firmly in Greek hands. Frustrated by repeated failures, Xerxes committed his most elite force, the Immortals, an imperial guard renowned throughout the Persian Empire. Surely these seasoned warriors would succeed where others had failed. Instead, they encountered the same obstacle. The confined battlefield erased their numerical advantage. Every advance met a disciplined wall of shields and spears. The Greeks even executed controlled withdrawals before suddenly surging forward again, throwing the attackers into confusion. To Xerxes' disbelief, even his finest soldiers were forced back. As darkness settled over Thermopylae, the battle seemed impossible for Persia to win. Then, everything changed. A local Greek named Ephialtes approached Xerxes with a dangerous secret. He revealed the existence of a mountain path that bypassed the pass, allowing Persian troops to outflank the defenders. Ancient sources identify Ephialtes as the man responsible, though some details of his motives remain uncertain. Before dawn, Persian forces silently climbed the hidden trail. The fate of Thermopylae had changed. At first light, scouts rushed back with devastating news. Persian troops had crossed the mountain path and were closing in behind the Greek position. The defenders were trapped. Leonidas understood there was no longer any hope of victory. Rather than sacrifice every allied soldier, he dismissed many of the Greek forces, allowing them to retreat and carry news of the invasion south.
Eat a good breakfast.
Leonidas chose to remain with his 300 Spartans, joined by several hundred Thespians who refused to leave, and a contingent of Thebans whose role remains debated by historians. The stand at Thermopylae had become a mission of sacrifice. As the surviving defenders advanced beyond the narrowest part of the pass, determined to inflict as much damage as possible, the fighting became fierce and chaotic. Spears shattered, shields splintered. Many warriors drew their swords as Persian soldiers attacked from every direction. Ancient accounts describe Leonidas fighting among his men until he was killed. A desperate struggle followed over his body, with the Greeks repeatedly driving back Persian assaults before being overwhelmed. By the battle's end, the last defenders had fallen. Militarily, Persia captured Thermopylae, but the victory came to cost. The determined resistance delayed Xerxes' advance, strengthened Greek resolve, and proved that the Persian army was not invincible. Only weeks later, the Greek fleet would win a decisive victory at Salamis, followed by the Persian defeat at Plataea the next year. Together, these victories ended Xerxes' campaign to conquer mainland Greece. Thermopylae became more than a battle. It became a symbol of courage, duty, and the willingness to stand for something greater than oneself. More than 2,400 years later, the names Leonidas and Thermopylae still inspire people around the world. As an ancient inscription near the battlefield declares, "Go tell the Spartans, stranger passing by, that here, obedient to their laws, we lie."